Well, 51 days behind bars and Arvind Kejriwal walks out of Tihar jail on the back of the Supreme Court relief, which is interim bail having been granted. That's for a 21-day period leading up to June 1st. Importantly, giving him that much-needed time to campaign ahead of the Delhi as well as Punjab elections. So hugely significant for the Aam Aadmi Party, for the opposition space as a whole, and of course for Arvind Kejriwal himself. But for purposes of this video, we'll dive into the rationale that the Apex Court has given in granting this relief. Number one, the Supreme Court says that it cannot lose sight of the fact that the elections are currently underway. This is an election year. The Supreme Court says that this is the most significant event of this entire year, that the entire electorate of 970 million people will be going to vote, that of the 970 million, 650 to 700 million people will be casting their votes, and that general elections provide the vis viva or the living force to a democracy, words coming in from the Justice Khanna-led bench. Not just that, the Supreme Court goes on to say that it is inclined to reject the contention of the Enforcement Directorate that this somehow creates a discrimination between the common man and an elected political leader. The Supreme Court said, rather, that the grant of interim bail is dictated by peculiar facts and circumstances of individual cases. And therein, in fact, the Supreme Court takes it a step further and says that it needn't be made out to be something exceptional, that this is not in the rarest of rare situations, that it's quite common for the courts to grant interim bail, that the Supreme Court has done previously as well on many occasions. Not just that, the Supreme Court also says, as a part of this order, that Arvind Kejriwal is an elected leader. In fact, he's the sitting chief minister of the national capital, that he's not a history cheater, he's not prone to criminal tendencies, he's not a threat to society, that as far as the allegations against him are concerned, the accusations, while he may be facing charges, he's not been convicted. Also, the Supreme Court is quick to point out that the ED has been investigating this since August of 2022, and the very arrest by the Enforcement Directorate is sub judice, is subject to challenge before the highest court of the country. And in light of all these facts, the Apex Court needs to take a holistic and a libertarian view, given that the general elections are currently underway. So, granting him interim bail, subject to some key conditions. What are those conditions? Well, for one, Arvind Kejriwal cannot visit his office, the CM's office or the Delhi Secretariat. He cannot be signing any files. That's in fact an undertaking that he himself had given, his lawyers rather had given before the highest court of the country. He cannot be allowed to speak on the matter, on this particular case, the excise policy case, in the public, and that he cannot speak to any witnesses involved in this matter. So important verdict this coming in. What's important is that many legal experts are now asking if this, in a way, sets a legal precedent to others who are also facing similar action. Here, we're alluding to Hemant Soren. His application challenging the ED arrest is due to be heard by the Apex Court next week. So, again, a hugely important verdict coming in from the Apex Court for the larger opposition space as well as for Arvind Kejriwal.
For more news and updates, all you need to do is follow CNBC TV18 on all of our digital platforms.